The Houston Texans are a very hard team for me to figure out because I love a lot of their roster. I think Nick Caserio has done a phenomenal job building the roster. But there's one spot on this team that worries me to death. I saw them overcome it last year, but can they do it 2 years in a row? I honestly don't know, especially in the AFC South, which I think got better this offseason with one team gaining major ground on the Texans. So let's discuss about that today. Are the Texans still the kings of the South, or is someone coming for their crown? The Texans offseason was extremely weird. Now, they did lose a lot of guys at the position of weakness of the offensive line, but they traded Laramie Tunsil, who I thought was still pretty good. Did he have his flag issues? Yes, but I didn't think they got fair value for him. And then they traded Kenyon Green, who wasn't the best player for them last year, but they also got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson the deal, so I really like that, especially for just a ball-hawking roaming safety. I think that's a really good move. They also lost Stephon Diggs, who, let's face it, he's not what he once was, and he was fine for the Texans last year, but nothing amazing. You look at the Texans offseason, it was really weird, and then they signed Cam Robinson, and I'm not a Cam Robinson guy. I thought the Jaguars robbed the Vikings for getting a single asset for them when they traded him to Minnesota last year, and the offensive line was not good when he was the left tackle for them, and I really do not think he is a starting left tackle in the NFL. That is a major downgrade from Tunsil to Cam Robinson. It just is. Now, they do have some young offensive linemen. Maybe their goal is to have them step up this year. They drafted the guy in the second round, which we'll talk about here in a second. There's just a lot of pieces on that offensive line I'm not a fan of with the Texans, and that worries me with C.J. Stroud, who can move around the pocket, has some good mobility, but he's not a Lamar Jackson type guy that he can scramble and create plays himself. He does need some pocket protection in the Texans. I don't know if they can give that to him this year with how they handled the offseason with the offensive line. Now to talk about some positive additions, it's really one guy I really want to highlight here is Sheldon Rankins. Older vet, yes, solid, just a solid defensive tackle. And they also did bring in the good guy of the NFL. Everyone loves him, Nick Chubb. Nothing to really comment on too much there. I don't know how much Chubb has left in the tank, but he's just a guy everyone loves, so happy to see him still in the NFL. Now to move on to their draft. And Nick Caserio is someone that does get the benefit of the doubt with me because I think he's a really good drafter with how he analyzes talent. That being said, I do disagree with two of his picks, and that would be the Iowa State wide receivers. And my main reasoning is, I never saw them create a bunch of separation. They are very good contested catch receivers, do not get me wrong. They could go up, high point the ball. Very solid hands, but their separation creation ability just was never there to me on film. Now, if their plan is, hey, Stroud's not going to have much time to throw it, we need to get that ball out, we need to get it quick, we need contested catch receiver guys. I get that. But something you want in the NFL is your receivers with the ability to create separation. Nico Collins is still the number one option, so you don't have to worry about them matching up with the number one corner on any team. That being said, you still would like to see separation created by those two guys, unless Tank Dell comes back and is fully healthy during the season, and after that Chiefs injury, we don't know how that's going to be. I have concern for how they're developing that roster with just guys who can't create separation at the receiver position. Second round pick was Ariante Ursi, and Ursi is just a big dude. He can very much be a good run blocker. His pass blocking needs some work, but that goes with the case when you come from Minnesota. Their football program is allergic to the forward pass a bit, but they really know how to run block, and the Texans do like to establish their offense with the run first. And you look at the Texans, they are very versatile when the play-action game is working. Having an offensive lineman that can clear out a path for that is good. If I remember correctly, I had him labeled as a right tackle. I don't really think he's a left tackle in the NFL, which is very fascinating to me because they had Blake Fisher at the right tackle position last year. If they're completely giving up on that or if one of them is going to move, I'm curious to see how that goes. At the end of the day, I don't think he can be worse than Cam Robinson, so I would probably give him starting reps over Cam. One last guy I just want to highlight real quick because I am a Florida Gators fan and I can speak on him. Graham Mertz, the 6th round pick. Graham Mertz is nothing special. He will probably never start in the NFL unless injuries take a hold of a team. Both what he can do is be a solid backup. He is very good in the film room, as many Gator coaches and Gator players have said. He's a highly intelligent quarterback, helping being the connecting dot between C.J. Stroud and the offense coordinator, just overall making the transition smoother on a game-week basis. He's a talented guy with that. I don't ever think he's going to be a real NFL player. He might become a backup that plays if an injury happens, but overall, he's just going to be a good, solid backup. And for 4 years, 6th-round pick, that's not bad for the Texans. Now talk about the Texans' strengths, and honestly, it's a lot of their roster. Their defense is really good. Their pass rushing unit is phenomenal. Their secondary is really good. Their linebackers are good with how DeMeco Ryans wants them to play. Quarterback is a stud in C.J. Stroud. Their running backs are really good. Their tight ends are really good. Their receivers are really good. The only question you have with this team, and that's why you gotta go straight to the weakness, is the offensive line, and I will hammer that point home. If the Texans had a average offensive line, they would be in my contention for the Super Bowl. That's how highly I think of this roster. That offense line, though, just causes me so many worries because I've seen teams fall apart with that offensive line not being good. And that's a concern with a guy who's not as mobile as a Lamar Jackson. He's just a better pocket passer, and you need to play to that strength. C.J. Stroud is a phenomenal quarterback if given the time. My concern is the Texans won't give him the time, and he's going to be spending a lot of time running for his life, taking hits. Now, listen, you can say with what you want, Kenyon Green was very bad last year. I fully get that. Losing him might be addition by subtraction. Laramie Tunsil, I've seen reports that, hey, he wasn't the best guy for team chemistry. They wanted to move off him. Fine, I get that. But I would have liked to see a more aggressive approach into fixing this offense line than with what was presented by them in the offseason. I think it's a very good team still overall, but with one major weakness that has me concerned. So to talk about where I have them in the division, it would be first or second place. And the team that I think they'll be battling for first place, well, you're going to have to wait for that video to pop out because I'm really high on them. But I look at the other two teams in division, they're not good. So the Texans, at worst, will be a second place team and most likely a playoff team. And here's the thing. I didn't think they'd beat the Chargers last year in the playoffs. I thought the Chargers would beat them up. They'd take advantage of the offense line. But the Texans had a great game plan, and that's because DeMeco Ryans is a rock star head coach. So even if the Texans are a wildcard team, I'm not ruling them out winning a playoff game. I ruled them out last year, and I looked like an absolute idiot. So I look at this team, I look at the coaching staff, I look at the general manager, and I think they have a plan. I don't see it with the offensive line yet, but it can definitely come into fruition as the season progresses, and especially in future seasons as well, because they have a young stud quarterback. They don't have to go all in this year. They can be patient. They can build things out. You would just like to see them contend as soon as possible if you're a fan of the team, or if you're just a fan of the roster overall, which I am. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit a like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you'd share this, I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm doing 32 and 32 team previews in 32 consecutive days. Tomorrow will be the Indianapolis Colts. So Texans fans, if you want to come back and listen to me talk about your division rival, I'd greatly appreciate it. If you just share this on any platform, I'd greatly appreciate that as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day.